in Lowland Kids. As climate change raises the Louisiana coast, the last two teenagers on Isle de Jean Charles fight to stay on an island that's been in their family home for generations. Since the tragic death of their parents, Howard and Juliette have been close to each other. Their kind-hearted Uncle Chris has taken care of them so that they could remain in the only world that they know, Isle de Jean Charles in Louisiana in the American Deep South. A long, thin piece of land surrounded by water on all sides, and the water is rising. Lowland Kids is directed by Sandra Winther, and this is her directorial debut, and this film is an extension of her short of the same name, Lowland Kids, from 2019. Lowland Kids really thrush you into this Louisiana setting. You really do get a feeling of what it's like to live in this area. It's strange that usually in America, the small towns, the people who live in them really want to get away, and they because there's not much to do there. But these inhabitants of this small community really love living there. They really feel at home in this community. The film mainly focuses on the teenagers in this film and how they're dealing with the loss of their parents, and how they're just struggling to survive day by day and trying to stay in school, but also trying to continue their life. This is a pretty solid documentary, but for me personally, I tend to struggle with films that are just observational and there's no narrative strand throughout the film. There's no narrative driving the story forward. So this film is just basically focusing on the people who live in this community, and there's nothing and there's nothing driving the film forward. For me, I personally struggle with films like that. And this film, for me, the setting wise, you really do get a feeling of what it's like to live in this community, but I just didn't really connect with the protagonists in this film, the teenagers and the people who live in this community. I don't really think that we get a sense of who they are. And because of climate change, the government is basically forcing them to relocate from their home in Isle de Jean Charles to another part of America, because these people in this community have always lived in Isle de Jean Charles. They're struggling with that, and the film doesn't really focus on that too much. I really wish the film had taken place once they've moved to their new community, and then when we can see them dealing with this change in their life. I think that would have been a bit more interesting. I give Lowland Kids 3 stars out of 5. This is a pretty solid documentary. You do really get a feeling of what it's like to live in this community of Isle de Jean Charles. And it was interesting to see the impact of climate change on this community and some communities around the coasts of the United States. But for me, I just couldn't really connect with the people in this film. I don't really think we get to know them very, very well. And I kind of wish we saw what it was like for these inhabitants to in their new communities. Once the government moves them to a new community, I wish we saw a bit more of how they adapted to their new environments. But I still recommend checking out Lowland Kids. It's still a pretty solid documentary. What did you think of Lowland Kids? Please comment below what you thought of the film. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.